This model is the flat circulatory model. So once again, arteries are red, veins are blue. The exception to this, once again, are the pulmonary. Pulmonary arteries are blue, pulmonary veins are red. So this right here, this is our heart, these are the lungs. So this blood vessel here is the pulmonary trunk, and that's going to branch off into the pulmonary arteries going into the lungs. These red guys in the lungs, those are the pulmonary veins. So pulmonary trunk, pulmonary arteries, pulmonary veins. Let's look at the other arteries over here. Once again, this is the aorta. This is the aortic arch. So aorta, aortic arch. The first branch off of the aorta, which we see here and also there, that is the brachiocephalic. The next branch, which starts here and continues there, that is the left common carotid. And then the third branch starts here and continues there, is the left subclavian. So we have brachiocephalic, left common carotid, and then left subclavian. What happens with the brachiocephalic is that it's going to branch. One branch goes off to the side, and one branch goes up into the neck. The branch that goes into the neck is the right common carotid, and the one that goes off to the side is the right subclavian. So when we look at all this again, we have aorta, aortic arch, brachiocephalic, which branches into right common carotid and right subclavian. And over here we have the left common carotid and then the left subclavian. Looking at veins in this region, this vein here is the superior vena cava. So that is the superior vena cava. And the superior vena cava is going to have two branches. One branch is very small. It's this big right there. That is the right brachiocephalic. The next one we can see goes from here to here, and that is the left brachiocephalic. So we can see that one a little easier. So superior vena cava branches into the right brachiocephalic, just right there, and the left brachiocephalic. Each brachiocephalic is going to branch off into a vein that goes into the neck and the one that goes off to the sides. So into the neck, off to the side, this one has been cut off. So we go brachiocephalic in the neck is the jugular, and off to the side once again is a subclavian. Brachiocephalic here, into the neck is the jugular, off to the side is subclavian. So this is superior vena cava, the right brachiocephalic, right jugular, right subclavian. This is a left brachiocephalic, left jugular, left subclavian. So whenever we're looking at arteries or veins, whenever we have a branch, it essentially gets called something different after the branch. So we learned that this is a subclavian, and when the subclavian comes in here and branches, we only need to know this guy right here. This guy going into the armpit region of the body, that is the axillary artery. And that's what axillary refers to, is that armpit region. So that is the axillary artery, which comes down here. In this region of the body is called the brachial region of the body. So that is the brachial artery. And that's going to come down here, and this is going to branch off to the thumb side, and this is going pinky side. And if you remember, the thumb side bone is the radius, the pinky side bone is the ulna. So this is the ulnar artery, and this is the radial artery. So once again, we have subclavian up here that becomes the axillary in the armpit region, and then the brachial region of the body, this is the brachial artery, which is going to come here and then branch into the ulnar artery and the radial artery. So let's take a look at this region of the flat circulatory model. Now here I want to point out the organs first. This organ here is the liver. This organ here is the stomach. This is the spleen. And these two are the kidneys. So if we look at the major blood vessel coming down here, looking at the arteries first, this is the abdominal aorta. So that is the abdominal aorta. The first blood vessel coming off the abdominal aorta is this one right here. And if you can zoom in, See that guy right there? It's going to branch three ways. 1, 2, 3. But this part right here, before it branches, that is called the celiac artery. It's also known as the celiac trunk. So that is the celiac artery or celiac trunk. Now let's go ahead and follow the branches. This branch, which is going to the spleen, is the splenic artery. This one going to the stomach is the gastric artery. And this one that going over here to the liver is the hepatic artery. So the celiac artery is going to branch three ways. Once to the spleen, the splenic artery, once to the stomach, the gastric artery, and then once to the liver, that is the hepatic artery. Below the celiac trunk is this little nub of an artery which has been cut off, and that is the superior mesenteric artery. So that is the superior mesenteric artery. These arteries going into the kidneys are the renal arteries. And down here, this artery right here is the inferior mesenteric artery. Looking at the veins in this region, this vein right here is the inferior vena cava. And looking at the veins going to the organs here, this is the hepatic portal vein. The one going to the stomach is the gastric vein. The one going to the spleen is the splenic vein. The ones going to the kidneys are the renal veins. So once again, inferior vena cava, hepatic portal vein, gastric vein, splenic vein, and renal veins. We come to this region of the body here. The arteries and veins are named the same. Once again, this is the abdominal aorta, this is the inferior vena cava. And both of them are going to branch. The one that's, the first branch here are called the common iliacs. So this is the common iliac artery, this is a common iliac vein. So this is the left common iliac artery, this is the right common iliac artery, left common iliac vein, right common iliac vein. They're called common iliacs until we get to this branch here and here. The branch that's going in here and here, that is the internal iliacs. So left internal iliac artery, left internal iliac vein, right internal iliac artery, right internal iliac vein. The ones going out here are the external iliacs. This is the left external iliac artery, left external iliac vein, right external iliac artery, right external iliac vein. So once again, common iliacs, internal iliacs, external iliacs. Common iliacs, internal iliacs, external iliacs. Once the iliacs go past the abdominal pelvic cavity there, now this is the femoral artery, that is the femoral vein. So femoral artery, femoral vein. The femoral artery has been cut off on this side, and this is actually the femoral vein on this side. The femoral vein was cut off actually on both sides. Because this guy right here, and it continues all the way down the leg, probably went off screen now, but this is the greater saphenous vein. So we have the common iliacs, internal iliacs, external iliacs, outside the abdominal pelvic cavity. Now these are femoral, so that's a femoral artery. This is a femoral vein, and then this is the greater saphenous right here.